All right, guys, here to get together with you today to go through some nutrition for fat loss and muscle gain. Look forward to those things ahead. But one is definitely open.
Oh, for sure.
No Cheez-It everywhere.
I think we're ready to roll now.
Wanna do a test again, or are we good?
I think we're good.
Okay.
We're ready to roll.
All right, guys. Tom Petkovich here with you today with Tapping to Fitness Nutrition. Basically, to just talk to you together today about the 5 habits that I teach all of my clients, the 21 superfoods that I make sure that they have a checklist for, and then also what types of portion control that they have for fat loss, muscle gain, and then lastly, just food timing. Okay, so the first thing that I want to cover are those 5 habits with you, okay? And I'm going to go slowly through those and kind of hit each one and kind of delve into some different areas. So the first thing is, are you eating slowly? Okay, so as you eat and as you do things as far as nutrition, the number one thing that I talk to all my clients about is you gotta slow down. This is one of the most important things that you're gonna do in your day is eating food. You get energy from this. This is something that is actually going to be the building block of your body in the future. We need to make sure that you're eating it and you're digesting it fully. And that starts with you chewing the foods in your mouth. Okay, so when you start and eat your food, they've actually shown and proven in studies that if you put your fork down more than 4 times in a meal, that you're less likely to be obese. Okay, so keep that, like less than 4 times, like most people are just shoveling it in their mouth, they eat in less than 10 minutes. Okay, the goal would be to eat and take at least 15, if not 20 plus minutes to eat your food. Okay, the goal would also to be to chew your food about 20 times per bite. Okay, so we really want to focus on making sure that you're digesting your food first in your mouth and you're starting that digestive process fully with making sure that you're chewing all of your food 100%. Okay, so that's first habit. Moving on to next habit is basically where are your protein dense foods? Okay, and you'll hear this all the time, like protein, 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 that's the most important thing. And yes, protein is super important. It's really kind of what types of proteins are important. And also we want to make sure that you're getting it in every single meal. Okay, so with this, the control for my ladies and men is 1 palm-sized portion for my ladies and 2 palm-sized portions for my men at every single meal. Okay, so the goal with that is to make sure that we're getting enough protein, because remember, protein is the building block of muscle. We digest those amino acids from that protein, and those amino acids are actually going to be the building block for our muscles. Okay, so if you're trying to add muscle, you're trying to gain lean mass, that's how we do that, and you're not going to do it unless you have those protein dense foods. Okay, so make sure that you're getting good quality meats and foods, and also make sure that you're focusing on getting it frequent enough throughout the day to ensure that you're getting enough there. So next thing is, where are your veggies? So number 3, where are your veggies? Now I'm gonna first talk about calorie control, portion control there. Now I'll also talk about, like, I loathe and hate that in our American society, we for some reason think that calorie control is the best way. They've literally never proven in a study long-term weight loss and weight control by calories in and calories out. So throw that in the garbage. Stop tracking the macros. Stop tracking that stuff. I'm looking for at least 1 fist, if not 2 fists of vegetables at every single meal. Okay, this includes breakfast. Breakfast is a meal. I want to make sure that you guys are getting 1 fist, if not 2 fists of vegetables per meal. Okay, so get creative. I know that one of my clients and I were actually just discussing like spinach for breakfast, putting that in your eggs. That's really good. Those things meld or mesh together really well. The nutrients of each other actually are conducive towards each other within that. And we get a lot of macronutrients, we get a lot of vitamins, minerals from those veggies, which you just don't get those things from things like this Cheez-It. Okay, there's yes, there's gonna be extra fortified ingredients within those things, but those aren't going to be things that are naturally occurring within that food that come from the earth and that are the building block of our cells in our body that are going to help us recover for future workouts, for future life, and make sure that you're healthy. Okay? Number 4 is where are your carbohydrates? I know that most people are like, oh, Tom's talking about carbohydrates. Carbs are bad. Yeah, paleo says this, keto says this. Okay, throw that away. Like, carbohydrates are important. Do we want to minimize carbohydrate intake? Yes, okay? But we need to make the distinction of good carbohydrates and bad carbohydrates, okay? So the first carbohydrate category that we want to talk about is really our simple, sugary carbohydrates. We want to minimize that intake as much as possible for fat loss. And when it comes to fat loss clients, we want to basically try to cut that out 100%, okay? If you do get those in, really the best place for you to get those is like probably mid-workout or post-workout when really you're doing something that requires the energy of those simple sugars. But again, for fat loss, the goal is to just cut that out completely, okay? For muscle gain, the simple sugars are going to be during or after exercise, okay? If a person is not trying to lose weight and they want to increase muscle mass, I want those individuals and people to diminish the amount of stress that is incorporated during exercise, and do that by making sure that they're putting a carbohydrate to help them stay in a less stressed state during exercise. Because when we exercise, when we do things, we're actually tearing the body down, we're beating you up, and that way you're adapting to that new stimulus that we're incorporating, okay? So moving on next to number 5 is where are your fats coming from, okay? With your fats, the biggest thing that we want to go to with that is making sure that our fats, again, are from healthy sources. We'd like to get 1/3 of our fats from saturated fats. We'd like to get 1/3 of our fats from monounsaturated fats, and we'd like to get 1/3 of our fats from polyunsaturated fats. Now, I know that's going a little bit in depth for you guys, so I'm going to give you guys some examples. Saturated fats would be like animal fats. Saturated fats would be like coconut oil, palm oil, those type of things. And my monounsaturated fats are going to be things like macadamians, avocados, and then my polyunsaturated are going to be things like walnuts, chia seeds, fish oil. Fish oil is a really good one that you could just, take a fish oil for the day and get that portion of that in there. Basically, we want to make sure that you're getting good omega-3s in, because typically omega-6s are so high within the American society because we do so many breads, pastas, grains, seeds that are going to be so high in omega-6s. And omega-6s aren't bad, but we want to have a good ratio of omega-3s to omega-6s. And if we don't, it's going to cause a lot of inflammation as far as overall. And inflammation is the number one reason why people typically have heart disease, stroke, those type of things. So we want to really stay away from inflammation, but that's also what's going to cause knee pain, back pain, have a lot of issues, and put on excessive extra fat, okay? A lot of times my clients, literally when we take out some of the junk that they're eating, they just lose inflammation and they shrink. They lose 5 pounds in a week. That's inflammation. That's water retention. That's the crap from you not eating well, okay? So those are our 5. I want to go back to, because I think that I missed portion control for the carbohydrates and fat. Portion control for carbohydrates would basically be like one handful of carbohydrates, and for people of fat loss, we're doing basically one of those, maybe 2 of those for us larger people, as far as big men. So ladies probably 1, men 2, and with that, that's going to be just post exercise. Okay, so individuals who are fat loss, you need to earn your carbohydrates, and it's only post exercise. Those individuals that are muscle gain, we're pretty much trying to get those immediately after exercise, but also we're going to use them kind of sparingly throughout the day. Now, I've kind of played around with this, and a lot of my clients are different in this category. Some people can do carbohydrates all day, every meal, never gain a pound. Those are typically the ectomorphs, the really slender and thin people. People like me, the only reason that I can do so many carbohydrates through my day is because I do so many intense cardiovascular, metabolic conditioning workouts, and I just burn a ton of calories. And I work 15-hour days, I'm standing on my feet all the time. Most people aren't doing that, okay? So you have to kind of gauge off of your physical activity, who you are, and then also what your goals are. There's no one size fits all when it comes to nutrition, and I think that's where a lot of people miss the point. That's why people struggle so much with Googling things, or going and getting a meal plan, or their calorie intake. All of those things, they just don't work for most people. We need it to be something that you're focusing on getting what you need and progressing into your food evolution as far as overall. Okay? So those are our 5 habits. I'm going to briefly go into our 21 superfoods, and really to start, I'm basically going to just kind of hit each area. Okay, so I'm first going to read off basically the protein category. Okay, and with those, we're going through lean red meats, is salmon, wild caught is preferred, eggs, plain Greek yogurt, making sure that we're not getting something like Yoplait or something like, I found that a lot of yogurts have so much sugar in them that they're actually more sugar than like drinking a pop. Okay, it'd be like literally you drinking pop for breakfast. Okay, I think we can all agree pop is not something we want to do for breakfast. Okay, next one we're going into is just overall protein supplements, and I personally do a vegan protein that's chia, chlorella, and a pea protein. There's a lot of different sources out there. A lot of them are great with those, so feel free to comment below and just let me know kind of what you guys prefer, what vegan sources you like there, but whey protein is a great source as well. Okay, so those are all of our protein category there. And then next we're going to go into our carbohydrate. First we're going to start with vegetables, then we'll go into fruits, and then we'll touch base on like grains and cereals. Okay, so first thing with those we're going to go through is spinach, tomatoes, and then also cruciferous vegetables. Cruciferous vegetables are going to be things like broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower. Okay, next category would be our fruit categories, and making sure that I'm getting in those carbohydrates as well. Typically, my clients that are more weight loss, I'm looking for a 5-to-1 ratio of vegetables to fruit. Okay, so that means if I get 10 vegetables in the day, fist sizes, I get 2 fruit servings. Okay, so that's as far as those. And like I said, mixed berries are my first carbohydrate for fruit. Next one would be oranges, legumes, and that's going to consist of black beans, lentils, peas, and those are all within that category. Those are all really good for you, but we need to make sure that we put them in the carbohydrate category because they are really high in carbohydrates. Yes, they're a good source of protein. Yes, they're good for a lot of other things, and they have a lot of aspects in there, but they're in that carbohydrate category that we need to minimize and make sure that we're putting in post-workout for those people that are weight loss, and recognizing that they're not a vegetable, they're a carbohydrate, and we need to make sure that we keep that down just as much as our other stuff. Next one is going to be quinoa, whole oats, mixed salted nuts, and now we're kind of going into that category as far as overall fats. Okay, and I don't think I mentioned that with fats, we're looking for pretty much 1 thumb to 2 thumbs worth at each meal. Okay, so I'm going to briefly cover the next ones: olive oil, fish oil, flax seeds. Those are our other fats within that 21 superfood checklist. Okay, then next is green tea, and then lastly going through basically like a green blend, like basically something that you'd put in like a protein drink, and then a liquid exercise drink. Now this is one that I typically recommend for a lot of my clients because a branched chain amino acid, that's the liquid exercise drink that I'm referring to, is really good for clients with stubborn belly fat, people who are struggling with just a lot of stress in their lifestyle, which as Americans, who isn't struggling with a lot of stress overall? Okay, so with that, I want to make sure that you guys are incorporating things that are de-stressing you and also helping you to recover. Okay, those are all the different areas as far as nutrition, kind of just the basics. And I hope those things have helped you guys overall. And before I let you guys go for the day, I want to make sure that I leave you with, again, those 5 habits, and then also covering kind of food timing a little bit more with you. Okay, so again, habit 1, are you eating slowly? Habit 2, where's your protein-rich foods? And then veggies, making sure that we're getting at least 1 fist at every meal. Carbohydrates, minimizing to just 1 post-workout for those clients for fat loss. People who are more muscle gain, more throughout the day. And then fats, at least 1 thumb worth, if not 2, at every meal. We want to make sure that we're minimizing that as well, because a lot of fat, too much fat, can be hard on the kidneys and those things as well. Okay, so lastly with those, I want to make sure that you guys know as far as minimally processed carbohydrates, and then also the distinction between that and like fruits and vegetables. Okay, so I do actually tell my clients post-workout that I do want them to make sure that they are getting a carbohydrate, and I'm talking about a different carbohydrate than fruits and vegetables. Okay, we're talking about like, you know, as far as potatoes, rice, and making sure that you're getting something like oats or whatever post-exercise to refill and kind of help you with the recovery overall with that too. Okay, and again, my overall with most of my clients, they're fat loss. So I typically recommend just post-exercise with those things. Try to get in more exercise bouts within the week so that you can have more of those carbohydrates and refill those throughout the week. Okay? So as far as in the comments below, what I would like you guys to do is to give you a challenge. Go in the comments below. Let me know basically what carbohydrates you guys typically incorporate, what you typically do as far as portion sizes. If you look at your plate, if you use your hand, kind of how you do things, and just give me some input of kind of like what you guys are doing, because a lot of the growth too within this community on YouTube might come from you guys as well, and I want to kind of build that with you guys there too. Okay, so look forward to in the future more videos like this for nutrition. And if you like these videos, make sure to subscribe below, and look forward to future different videos on exercise, on nutrition, and then just overall like equipment reviews and gym things from there. But great being together with you guys today, and have a great rest of your day.